Welcome to episode 003 of the Focused on Freelance Instructional Design podcast. And today's episode is going to be super helpful for you with determining the uncertainties you may be having about the next meeting you have with your subject matter expert, because today's episode is about 5 tips for asking good subject matter expert instructional design interview questions. So let's get started. Welcome to the Focused on Freelance Instructional Design podcast, where each and every week you'll get proven, practical tips and advice from a teacher who successfully transitioned to freelance instructional design while working full-time as a single mom. And now, here's your host, Crystal Osterberg. Hello, and you're listening to the Focused on Freelance Instructional Design podcast. I'm Crystal Osterberg, and in today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about 5 tips for asking good subject matter expert or SME instructional design interview questions. But before we begin, I'll be starting off each episode with an instructional design Freelancer tool of the week. And this week's Freelancer tool of the week is called Hunter. An important component of any business is reaching out to potential customers, but choosing a professional email finding tool can be overwhelming. Hunter helps freelance instructional designers and business owners who are looking to build a database of professional contacts. This managerial tool can save you the time you would otherwise be spending on manual research for emails within websites. And you can also filter results to list only personal or role-based. Hunter is ideal for freelance instructional designers that need help verifying email addresses and cold outreach. I personally use it regularly for networking reasons. And some people are way more responsive via email as opposed to LinkedIn. And I also have the added extension, which makes its use even more convenient. All right, now let's move on to the main topic of today's episode. Are you currently wondering what questions you should ask in your next meeting with a subject matter expert or SME? Getting the information you need to produce the course that they want can be a challenge. Not only are there a lot of factors that you have to consider in order to successfully forecast the SME's vision, but there are also many potential questions you could ask them that it can become a fast and overwhelming decision to make. And while we all want to gather the perfect amount of information from our SME, if there is such thing, it can be easy to get derailed and go off track during your meeting. But I'm here to make sure that you don't do that. The quality of the material that you get from an interview depends on the quality of the questions that you ask. In this podcast episode, I'm going to talk with you about 5 tips and topics to keep in mind while you're trying to determine the best questions to ask a subject matter expert during your next meeting. Number 1, leave questions open-ended. The last thing you want are one-word answers from someone with a wealth of knowledge. Think who, what, why, where, when, and how. If you choose these bases in your SME interview questions, you'll have great material to work with afterward. You may even come across some interesting insights into the learning topic by letting the SME take the lead. Number 2, remember that your goal is to understand the skills and knowledge the SME has and to find a way to effectively express that knowledge to the learners. The person you're working with is a quote-unquote expert by definition, and most likely you are a novice compared to them. Though they are likely the sole reference of the knowledge of the content you're creating, there very likely might be a chance that the two of you have clashing ideas on how a learning experience should be designed and what should be included in the course. Number 3, find out the SME's opinion of what the learners should be expected to know after completing the course. Now, of course, you should have a copy of the learning objectives, but it's a good idea to find out the SME's perspective on what they think is particularly important for the learners to have an understanding of. Are there any systems or concepts that they use to explain a particular topic? Number 4, make sure you find out about learner pain points that need to be addressed in the course. What potential difficulties might the learner face while learning? Where do people stumble? This information will make it easier to determine what should be in basic sections of the course and what should go into advanced topics. And number 5, stick to a plan. As you determine the questions for your SME, make sure they stay focused on exactly what information that you're looking for. If you notice the conversation starting to go off topic, bring it back to the focused question, to the information that you need to ensure that the learning objectives are successfully achieved. And remember that there aren't always the perfect questions for subject matter experts. There's definitely no surefire way to find the perfect questions to ask an SME. The truth is, it probably doesn't even exist. As long as you put in the research, you'll find the best fit for the course that you're creating. And of course, there are many other questions that we need to ask for the project overall, but I've found that these topics and questions really help us focus on getting the best possible information from the SMEs and bring the most value to the learners. So be sure to use these go-to topics next time you need help determining questions for the SME. And remember to always rely on open-ended questions to help you with any unclear pieces of your outline development. Open-ended questions include who, what, when, where, why, and how. And if you need more help coming up with questions to ask the SME, be sure to download my free 15 questions to ask an SME when you're stuck. Or just hop into the ID Plan Academy, and we have got loads of courses that will teach you all about working with SMEs, and then connect with other instructional designers and ask what they've been asking their SMEs. And I also have plenty of other resources all related to SMEs and the Academy. So be sure to check that out. And then download your own free copy of 15 questions to ask an SME when you're stuck. All right, that wraps up another episode of the Focused on Freelance Instructional Design podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed this week's episode, be sure to hit the 5-star review button and let me know how much you enjoyed the show. Not only will that let me know that I'm doing a good job, but it will also help me reach more people, make more of an impact, and help others reach their freelance instructional design success. I would greatly appreciate it if you had the chance to leave me a review. And be sure to let me know on the ID Plan Academy's LinkedIn page or the ID Plan Academy's Facebook page. We also have nearly 10,000 members in our growing private groups on each of the platforms. The groups are called Freelance Instructional Designers Mastermind on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And when you're giving me feedback on social media, be sure to leave the @ symbol before the name so that I can thank you personally. I always read my reviews and comments individually, and I really appreciate them. And hopefully you'll join me next week for another episode of the Focused on Freelance Instructional Design podcast. So I'm super excited to tell you all about a program that I've been working on for instructional designers who want to start, build, and grow their own freelance instructional design business. And it's called the ID Plan Academy. The Academy is going to help you with building an instructional design business that you love and generates predictable, recurring income, and finally gives you the freedom and lifestyle that you want. Instructional designers need the ability to choose their own clients and projects. That's what having your own business in instructional design is all about. If you want flexibility and the ability to grow your own skills, this is also a perfect program for teachers who are trying to leave the traditional classroom and want to finally become their own boss. Finally get to enjoy the reasons why many people go into teaching, the creative aspect. Enjoy a career where you can spend time creating things and less classroom management and grading. You'll learn how to build a good professional network of diverse professions. Do you want to facilitate a good work-life balance while meeting your financial targets? Become more profitable with more predictable income streams? Attract and help mission-driven businesses achieve their goals? Finally, get the grips with the tools you need to learn while building stunning and memorable portfolio projects that align with your niche and what you actually want to do. Understand what clients are actually looking for and how to adapt your portfolio and CV or resume accordingly to attract the clients that you want and the projects that you actually enjoy working on. I'm going to help you eliminate the guesswork by giving you a step-by-step roadmap to follow. You're going to be tapping into the collective knowledge and experience of a community of freelance instructional designers and experts who are there to support each other. My plan is to create the most practical and comprehensive program to help you plan, start, and grow a successful freelance instructional design business. This is not going to be about learning a bunch of tired theory. When you've completed the ID Plan Academy roadmap, you will have fully completed your instructional design portfolio and website that has everything in place to achieve real long-term success. You'll also learn all the marketing strategies, everything about how to set up your business so that you find the clients and projects that you actually want. I'm going to provide you with all the resources I can to help you implement what you learn and make growing your business, finding clients, managing your projects, and all of your instructional design business tasks as easy as possible. So if you're ready to take your freelance instructional design career and business to the next level, then be sure to join the waitlist for the Academy to be the first to find out when it's open and also get the best possible price. Thanks for checking out e-learning and instructional design for beginners. Please take 1 second to like, subscribe, and comment anything below.